Happy Friday. What's up, Visionary Conversations audience? Of course, I'm your girl, Shayna A. Jefferson, and we are here for another episode of Visionary Conversations with Shayna. As always, I'm just so honored to have amazing guests, visionary entrepreneurs doing their thing across the United States and beyond. And our guest today is certainly no exception. So, I'm going to let her, Krystal, that is our special visionary guest for today, tell you a little more about who she is and what she does and how she can serve you. All right. So, y'all, do me a favor. I want you to invite your entrepreneur bestie. Perhaps it's someone out there working a 9 to 5 currently and they're interested in jumping into the entrepreneurship game. Let them know they need to join us today for this discussion on visionary conversations with Shayna. So I'm going to play this brief clip here. And then once we return, we will have Miss Krystal join us live. All right, stay tuned, y'all. All right, Visionary Conversations with Shayna audience. As promised, I have the amazing Krystal of Simply She joining us today to share with you her expertise and once again let you know our topic for today, matter of fact, is creating multiple streams of income, which is of the utmost importance. Honestly, not even just for entrepreneurs, right? Really for everyone. All right. So, Krystal, why don't you introduce yourself to once again to the Visionary Conversations with Shayna audience.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Krystal Vernee, and I'm a serial womanpreneur, speaker, author, business coach, and a brand strategist. And I teach coaches, consultants, and online service providers how to monetize their expertise, create multiple streams of income so they can build a profitable and sustainable business. Super excited to be here. And thank you so much, Shayna, for having me today.
Definitely my pleasure. Now, y'all may recall a few months ago, Krystal was one of the amazing guest speakers at my Roadmap to Greatness conference. So, if you did not take a look at her workshop during that conference, y'all just drop replay in the comments and we'll make sure to get that information to you. But certainly, I want you, whatever you do, make sure you connect with Krystal, okay? Now, Krystal, one of the things that I recall when we met previously on Visionary Conversations with Shayna was the fact that you have been in this entrepreneurship game for a long time. So tell us about it. Like, how long have you been a full time entrepreneur, and what was your inspiration for getting started?
Yeah, so in the entrepreneurship game, it's over 20 years actually. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. So I started when I was 16. So
Mhm.
definitely been at this for a while. Full time entrepreneurship, a little over 2 years. And I've been in many different industries from sales to financial services. And now I'm in like the alternative fitness, so aerial dance and pole fitness, and also business coaching and brand strategy. So I've done a multitude of things.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's start perhaps with maybe the most important question. Well, no, all of these questions are important, but why, right? Why is it important for entrepreneurs to create multiple streams of income?
Yeah, so it's extremely important because that actually is what will sustain your business. So we talk about people often associate entrepreneurship with just money and revenue and income. It's like they got to get to the money, they got to get to the bag, right?
Right.
But what they don't realize is that there's a structure that's going to best support your business, that your business should have, so that it is sustainable. Because
Mhm.
honestly, sustainability without sustainability, you don't really have a business,
Right.
right? It'll be very fleeting. The people that you see that start businesses, they're here today, gone tomorrow, is because they don't have or they did not think about setting up a sustainable business model. And multiple streams of income is one of the ways that you can do that. And some other ways as well, but
Mhm.
multiple streams of income is definitely like the main way. And even within that one business, because if anything could happen. Nobody expected COVID, right? So, if you only had one way to earn and COVID cut that off from you, that means you don't have a business anymore.
Yep.
So,
So, so true. What are some of the reasons entrepreneurs don't create multiple streams of income?
yeah, well, that's a loaded question, but I think there could be several reasons. I think one of the reasons is definitely because people hop on trends. And so they see like what's working for someone, and so they're like, oh, we gotta do this thing. That person over there is making a lot of money. I don't want to miss out. So they get FOMO,
Yep.
and they jump into the industry without really knowing a lot about it, or
Mhm.
like even doing their research to understand like what's really the sustainability of this thing that I'm doing,
Mhm.
this hustle that I'm chasing.
Mhm.
And then before you know it, the trend loses its popularity, and then you're looking for something else, looking for the next thing. So that's one reason. I think the other reason is just it could be a mindset issue.
Yep.
Thinking that this is the only way that I can do things, the only way that I can
Mhm.
earn, and so they're not really open to exploring other possibilities or expanding their business or diversification.
Absolutely. Sure. Gonna put it on you a little bit, Crystal. How many streams of income do you currently have, if you don't mind sharing that?
Yeah. Let's see. Do you want?
I know you do a lot.
Let me think about this. That's a good question. Okay, so in one business, I have six streams of income
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm.
So if we add up all the businesses, that's about 25 or 26 streams of income.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Now, I'm looking to see if we have questions here, but how do you manage the multiple streams of income?
Yeah, so a lot of it's automated.
Mhm.
So I think one of the things that entrepreneurs fail to do is they get enamored with the hustle part of entrepreneurship, which
Mhm.
it seems glamorous. TV and social media, the things that we see make it glamorous, but really that's not going to be the way that you're going to be able to, number one, sustain a business, but most importantly, sustain yourself and your life.
Right.
So you have to find a way to remove yourself from the day to day in order really to even be able to expand. So it's kind of like you have to build a strong foundation first
Mhm.
before you can branch out. I didn't start out with all the things that I have today. By no means. I would not have been able to make it. I'll just be honest and say that up front. So when people tell you to concentrate on one thing, it's not because they don't want you to be great. It's because they want you to be successful. People who have been doing it for a while are like, do you have the one thing yet that you're good at? That's your zone of genius that you've been able to monetize and scale, right?
Right.
Grow and then scale.
Mhm.
If you don't have that, then you need to focus on that first. And then you can start doing all the other different things that, you might have a passion for. But definitely time blocking is my friend.
Mm.
So
I
that,
love it.
I'm able to concentrate on each area of my business where it needs my time as a CEO.
Mhm.
So, there's like CEO time, right? And then there's the time where you actually have to do some of the work because let's be real, in some of my businesses, I'm still a solopreneur. So there are
Mhm.
some I have a team and some that I'm still a solopreneur. So the ones that I'm a solopreneur, I have to actually put in time in my business. And so, being able to have that time is important, but also have time to myself. So time blocking is definitely one of the things that I do. And then, like I said, automation. So making money in your sleep is a real thing.
Yep.
And if you have the systems in place to be able to do that, then that will allow you to expand even more.
I love it. I love it. Now, do you assist your clients in setting up those systems and automating and helping them reframe and shift their mindset? Are those some of the things that you do in your program or one of your programs? And if so, tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So both of my program systems is a big part because I definitely want people to set themselves up for success very early. So we focus, of course, on what the message, the target market, the niche, and the offers are going to be. But really, if they're a coach or a consultant, of course, their heart is the happiest when they're actually working with their clients and they get a chance to do the thing that they love. The other stuff is the tools or the means to the end, right? So we focus on making sure that that is strong and that once it's set up, you got to put the work in on the front end, right, to reap the benefits on the back end. That's what passive income is all about, right? The active income is you actually doing the one to one with the client or working with the client. The passive stuff is what you set up on the front end. And so we work really hard to get that set up, make sure that it's good. And then, that person can do what they were called to do, which is coach or consult with their clients.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned passive income, which again, yes, it is a must, right? It is a necessity. Cannot go without passive income, whether you're an entrepreneur, business leader, or not. Ensure that you have, one, multiple streams of income, but that also includes passive income. So, in the clients that you work with, Krystal, what are some of the passive income streams that you recommend or you would recommend to someone that is interested maybe in connecting with you or just getting started?
Yeah, so like I said, I work with coaches, consultants, and online service providers. So they're mainly in the online space. I do have some consulting clients who have brick and mortar, so
Okay.
that's a new. Um, you know, the online space is new for them, right? But definitely courses are
Mhm.
a huge source of passive income.
Yeah.
Um, Anything that's going to be digital. So it could be audio that you have created. It could be some kind of a video training. It could be a workbook. Um, it could be a combination, mini courses. I'm like calling myself the evergreen queen because evergreen lead generation is like one of my things that I teach.
Mhm.
So put the work in up front,
Yep.
whatever that might be, and you repurpose it, forever,
Mhm.
until it's no longer relevant. But if
Mhm.
it's evergreen and you truly have connected with your target audience, it's going to be relevant for a very long time. So those are just a few examples of something that could be passive income for you. Memberships is another one. You
Yep.
could have a membership, but again, like a lot of times, I think especially online entrepreneurs, they spend a lot of time creating content. We create, and then it just kind of sits. So instead of having all of your content and your intellectual property and things sit for you, have it work for you behind the scenes all the time. And
Yes.
so definitely you can utilize some of that and monetize it.
Okay. Perfect. Let's see here. So we have a question. Let's see. How do you decide which streams of income to pursue and which ones to let go of?
That's a great question.
Yes, yes,
Very
yes.
good question. So I think for me, it's really important to be in touch with your core values and your brand values. So, as you're building your brand, whether you are a product based entrepreneur or a service based entrepreneur, it's really important to spend some time with not only yourself, right? Because whether you want to admit it or not, you are the brand.
You are.
And then also what your company stands for, and like what is going to be in alignment with your company with those particular streams of income. So, for example, one of the pillars or values in my, and for Simply She, will take that as an example, is empowering women in entrepreneurship.
Mm.
So when opportunities come up, whether they be speaking opportunities or chances to collaborate with someone, I have to ask myself the question, is that in alignment with the brand values of my business? So if that person is, let's say they're another coach, they're an empowerment coach, or they have a women empowerment platform that matches one of the missions, like one of the values that I have for my brand, right? So that would be a yes for me, depending on other factors that we have to evaluate, right? But that's an example of how you would go about determining which streams of income to pursue and which not. And also, I would always tell people, go with your gut too.
Yeah. Mm.
Like if something doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right. And as you grow up in business, and anyone will tell you, like these 7, 8, 9 figure earners, they will tell you the what's in it for me is a real thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I always tell people, like, sometimes people will approach you because they're approaching you from the perspective of like what's in it for them. But the true entrepreneurs, people who are truly about collaboration, will always take you into consideration. So always look at both sides of the coin. What's in it for that person and what's in it for you, and how can you win together? It must be a win-win.
I love it. I'm all about let's win together. I think we post that often. Sometimes we feel as if, or entrepreneurs may feel as if they're in this alone, right? And one of the reasons why many businesses, small businesses, fail within the first year and first 5 years, right? Because they don't reach out for help.
Mhm.
They don't have the mindset. As you mentioned earlier, they may just jump into this just to get to the bag. Okay, yeah, we need the bag. But like you said, to be sustainable in the long term, you're going to need more than just going after the bag, right?
Yeah,
So awesome. All right, so let's take a brief break here. Y'all have been tuned in to Visionary Conversations with Shayna with the amazing Krystal of Simply She. And a matter of fact, before we go to break, Krystal, because I realize we don't have your contact information on the screen. Please share your contact information with the audience today.
absolutely. You guys can connect with me on Facebook at I Simply She. Also on Instagram at I underscore simply underscore she. I'm on LinkedIn at Krystal Vernee, and my personal profile on Facebook is Krystal Vernee. So definitely feel free to connect with me. Also, www.isimplyShe.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Krystal. All right, y'all. Hey, if you're just tuning in, that it is okay. We're about halfway through the show today, so you can definitely catch the beginning later. But let's do this. We're going to go to a brief break and we're going to return with our amazing visionary guest for today, Miss Krystal of Simply She. We'll be back.
Swag Her magazine is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for Black women who like to be real with themselves and in business. The magazine also offers public relations services and visibility coaching for Black women led businesses, coaches, authors, and girl bosses so that they receive more exposure and grow their brands. To learn more about Swag Her magazine, please visit www.swagher.net. That's www.swagher.net. Check our swag. We're more than a mag.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Visionary Conversations with Shayna. Hopefully, y'all have been taking notes because Krystal has been dropping some gems. Okay, y'all may see me over here. I'm actually taking notes as well. If you have any questions, feel free. I'm checking at least some of the comments, or let's see, I'm checking Facebook. I'll try to take a look at YouTube and the other platforms again as well. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments or in the chat, and we'll definitely try to get Krystal to answer your questions live. Um, let's talk about mistakes. Okay, what are some of the common mistakes entrepreneurs make when creating or attempting to create multiple streams of income, Krystal?
Let's see. Well, the first one would definitely be doing anything.
Uh-huh.
that that would be the first mistake is literally doing anything. So there's a wealth of information out there, right? You got YouTube University, we got Google University. So then we got all the social media platforms. I think people get on there and they kind of just see, "Ooh, I could do that. Ooh, I could do this. Ooh, I could do that," and so they start to try to do anything and everything. And again, I talked about it before about branding and your brand values and going back to your brand. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
does that align with what you're trying to do? It's kind of like, you know, you're trying to be a business coach and then you have landscaping underneath. It's like, and so you're marketing those things together. You're confusing your audience. Not to say you can't to do those two things and do them well, but that was like a very exorbitant example, but I mean, it happens kind of like that, just kind of doing really anything, trying to see what sticks. The spaghetti method is definitely a mistake that I see a lot. And I think the other one is not getting help, like you said, in order to figure out what types of income streams they should create. So hiring a coach or getting mentors, I think is really important, especially in the beginning stage. Well, really at all stages of your business, not just at the beginning. It's one of the things that's definitely changed the trajectory of all of my businesses up until this point is having constant coaching and mentoring. But then I also think the third thing is trying to implement strategies. I want to explain this right. Trying to implement strategies that are not appropriate for the level of business in which you're at currently.
Mm.
So there are, the reason why I know this to be true is because I see people saying a lot of things don't work on the internet. This doesn't work, that doesn't work, this doesn't work. And a part of that is marketing, right? It's a part of the game, people wanting to get you to buy their thing. But when I see it from people who I know are still building their business, I'm like, you tried to implement a strategy that was not for the place in business of which you are right now. It absolutely does work, but because you don't have this foundational piece in place, you're still trying to find your footing. You don't have this much in revenue, so investing that much wasn't going to help you at that point, or you really needed a team member, or you didn't need a team member, things like that. I also see mistakes that entrepreneurs make.
Mm, okay. Yeah. Good tips there. So again, it doesn't matter, whether you're just getting started as an entrepreneur, you're 5 years into the game, you might be very seasoned, right? 20, 30 years into this, and there's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement. You always have to be, have to innovate, right?
Mhm.
So if you are a business owner, a consultant, perhaps you do currently have a brick and mortar business, right? And you're looking to transition to the online space, do not hesitate, okay? Do not hesitate to get in contact with Krystal. She can certainly help you take your business to the next level. All right. Let's talk about life in business briefly, okay? As you may know, I speak often about the importance of creating harmony in life as well as business. Earlier, you mentioned time blocking. What are
Mhm.
some other strategies or some things that you do, Krystal, to create harmony between your business endeavors and life?
Yeah. So there's this word that we don't like to use as entrepreneurs, but you got to use it. It's called no.
Oh, yes.
It's called no, and you got to learn to love the word no.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that is because I can speak from experience. It's something that I'm still working on because I like to say yes to things. I'm like, wait, no, I should have said no. Like, I really should have said no to that. And sometimes, we get really excited, we get an opportunity. Um, but you do have to take care of yourself in addition to taking care of your business. And sometimes that just means saying no, or not right now, or let me get back to you. So I think, that's definitely something that you need to practice. It's definitely something, it's not it might sound funny, but trust and believe it's a real thing. And if you want to have the life and business balance, you're going to have to learn to say no, or you're going to have to learn to say not right now, and be okay with that, right? Because it's easy to say, but then you got to be okay with the fact that you said no, or I can't take this appointment right now, but I can take it next week, and be okay. I think the other thing is that you need to drop the scarcity mindset. I think that's part of why people have trouble saying no, because they feel like that opportunity is not going to come back around to them. So work on releasing scarcity and fear of like not having, and just really embracing the fact that you'll always have enough. There will always be enough. Money always comes to me. Like, if you can believe that and embody that, it'll be okay for you to say no. It'll be okay for you to time block and say, I'm not going to answer this email right now. I definitely used to be I can say this because I used to be the person, like especially when I had my 9 to 5, like answering emails at 3 in the morning, because I did not want the emails to be unread in my inbox. Like, it was that serious. So, and I had to learn to like turn that off and let go. Same thing in my business. Like, I was like, oh no, like they send the email, it must be answered. Like, that was me. And so learning how to kind of put up boundaries is going to be really important to be able to have a successful business, but also succeed in life too.
Absolutely. Turning off and letting go is definitely come in contact with. So, even your personal experience, right, as you mentioned, what was it? What did it take for you to get it, right? Understand the importance of turning off and letting go.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's not a happy story, y'all. I ended up in the hospital.
Mm.
That is how I finally learned to say, okay, it's really not that serious. And like, so the other mantra, it will be here tomorrow. That email, that work that you didn't finish, when you wake up, it's gonna be here tomorrow, right? When you go downstairs, what you left undone will be here tomorrow. And so, it's like, okay, it's okay. Like, I can do this tomorrow. Like, it's not an emergency. And so I unfortunately I was really stressed out. I had to go in the hospital, have emergency surgery, because physically, an illness manifested in my body.
Yep.
So after that point, I was like, okay, I have to figure out a way to balance things and also, take care of business.
Right, right. All too often, that's how it happens, right? Krystal's story may not necessarily be your story, but every entrepreneur perhaps, has a story, and it doesn't always have to come from a painful experience if you take heed and you listen to those such as Krystal that have been there and done that, right? I speak often about the mental cost of entrepreneurship. It is real, right? Many entrepreneurs that thankfully are successful now, they had to go through it to get to it. But that doesn't necessarily have to be your story, right? Learn from our experiences, so that way not only your business thrives, right? You can thrive and flourish in your personal life endeavors as well. So on that note, because obviously I'm a mental health therapist, Krystal, just share briefly with our audience some strategies that you use to maintain your mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. Journaling was definitely one thing that I came to do. I could think it came the easiest for me to start. And I started with journaling with prompts because I was like, I don't know what to write. I'm an engineer. I was like, do I write math problems on this? Like, what happens? So, and you're laughing, but seriously, I was like, 1 plus 1. Like, does that help me write? I don't know. But buying a journal with prompts helped me. And so now I can just kind of free write if I get stressed. Also, I was introduced to art therapy. By no means am I an artist. Y'all, if you saw how I can draw, y'all would die laughing. But it was more so just coloring and color until it's finished. You get all the color pencils or the crayons, you just color until whatever you're going through is done. I was like, that actually was relieving stress. I was like very surprised. I was like, this ain't gonna do nothing. But then I started doing it and I was like, oh, this is great. And then meditation is another. Again, I'm saying the things that like I definitely rejected when somebody suggested it. So,
Mhm.
definitely always be willing to open your mind and try new things because I was definitely the person whose mind was always thinking.
Mhm.
So I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. That's one of the reasons why, because I'm always thinking of business ideas and just ideas in general.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't turn that off when I went to sleep. And that was a problem. So I wasn't sleeping. I was always thinking and doing something. That's why I was
Mhm.
sending emails at 3 in the morning. So I needed a way to figure out how to turn that off. And meditation helped me do that. I had to learn how to meditate. So don't, if you don't know how to do that, there are apps and there's definitely classes and things you can take advantage of that
Right.
help you do that. And then I think the other thing was just the boundaries and practicing my boundaries.
Yep.
That was a real thing. Like it took me a while to be able to like say no or reschedule something and mean it and not feel a certain way after it happened. So I had to get intentional about practicing my boundaries and setting my business up in a way that created those boundaries for me as well.
I love it. I love it. I definitely appreciate you sharing that. To any entrepreneur out there, if you're struggling with your mental health, definitely, take heed to some of the suggestions that Krystal has. She's not just telling you this, right? Just because this is something that she's actually experienced and some strategies and techniques and tools that she's been able to employ in her life as well as her business. So definitely make sure you take heed to that. All right. Wow. This has been another amazing episode of Visionary Conversations with Shayna. Before we conclude for today, because I know y'all, Krystal always got something going on, okay? I absolutely love it. Only been connected with her online for a few months now, and I always love seeing her very informative social media posts. So definitely make sure you follow her on all social media platforms. Go to her website as well. But Krystal, why don't you share with the Visionary Conversations with Shayna audience what's next?
Yes. So many things, y'all. But immediately, what's next? Next week, I'm actually going to be heading down to Tampa, Florida to speak at the Empowerment Unleashed conference with one of my good friends, Catherine Beltran and Rachel Morgan. We're going to be basically putting on a conference together for women entrepreneurs. So if you're in the Tampa area, definitely make sure you stop by. And then I'm going to be releasing a book, The Brand Builder Blueprint, The Ultimate Guide to Building a Powerhouse Brand. It's going to be coming out July 2023. So make sure you stay connected with me for sure so that you don't miss the release date and you can figure out how to reserve your copy. You can get more info about both of those things at www.isimplyShe.com. And quick links you can access at slayhardeveryday.co. Again, that's slayhardeveryday.co.
I love it, Krystal. And I know I'm going to be seeing a lot more of you out here in these entrepreneur streets. But more importantly, I do hope that we can connect in person somewhere, sometime soon. Maybe we can have it manifest in 2023.
Yes.
But definitely, I definitely look forward to everything that you will continue to offer as you continue to impact the lives of entrepreneurs, not just across the US, but across the world as well. So thank you so much, Krystal.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, y'all. So another amazing episode of Visionary Conversations with Shayna. Once again, Krystal, or simply she, was our amazing guest. I'll make sure we drop her contact information in the comments. Follow her, share her post, schedule a consultation with her, connect with her in person. Okay, if you're in Tampa, be there or wherever she is. Find a way to connect with Krystal and make sure you pre-order her book that's scheduled for release this July as well. And last but not least, before I conclude for today, y'all, I realized we didn't actually have the video promo video to show today, but we'll of course get it out. But we're just let's see, about 6 weeks away from the Mental Cost of Entrepreneurship conference. That's going to be a virtual event on May 31st. Okay, so from 2 to 4 p.m. we will be live. We're going to have an amazing actually a couple of amazing panels of entrepreneurs sharing their journeys of the trials, the tribulations, the blessings as well, of course, of entrepreneurship. So if you are thinking about you're considering entrepreneurship or you've been in the game for a while, this conference is definitely for you because mental health, right? It impacts every aspect of your life and your business. So it's imperative that as entrepreneurs that we take a holistic approach to entrepreneurship. I think Krystal mentioned earlier about not just focusing on the bag. She's absolutely right. You have to ensure that you're well mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, as well as financially to um, have a sustainable life as well as a sustainable business. But you can learn more about the Mental Cost of Entrepreneurship Conference by going to the Mental Cost of Entrepreneurship.info. All right. Loving greatness, y'all. I will see y'all later. Bye.